So when someone finally gets that, they get a good food source, they have consistent food coming in, they have a shelter, they have all like the hierarchy of needs that they need. What's next to become happier? Do you understand what I'm saying there? Like what's so once you have like your basic needs met, what makes you happier after that?
Well, lots and lots of little things make you happy after that, first of all. And you've probably seen people talk about expressing gratitude and things like that. Those are all good things, doing things for others. And of course, there's unsurprisingly, but sort of kind of bad news if you don't win the genetic lottery, is there's a strong genetic component to happiness. I'd say about half the variability in how happy we are at baseline is genetically influenced. And so about half of it is from our life and our environment, and about half of it is the genes that we happen to get. But above and beyond that, what I think is happening is that, so we evolved, if we return to our hunter-gatherers lifestyle, they had no choice but to be tightly connected to each other. You couldn't just wander off into the wilderness, or you're going to be lion food. And so they cooperate all the time to protect themselves and to seize opportunities to go on hunts and things like that. They have to work together. And when they're trying to decide where they want to go, the Hadza, for example, are very egalitarian. Everybody can express an opinion, and then everybody can go whatever direction they want. But if I really want to go south and you guys all decide to go north, I'm not going south by myself. I kind of got no choice. So my best chance to express my autonomy is to try to persuade you. But if I can't do that, I have to go along with the game. And so what I believe has happened is that we evolved to grab autonomy whenever it was really available in our ancestral past, because it was rarely available. And connection needs were always met. But now we live in such a high technology, wealthy world that our connection needs are they're irrelevant. We don't need them to survive anymore. If I run out of coffee, I don't need to go borrow it from you. I could drone it in. My latte will arrive in 20 minutes, right? I don't need anybody anymore. And the richer I become, the less I need people, because everything that I need, I can just outsource. I can get online and just have it done. And so the consequences, if I'm right in this estimation of what our lives were like then and now, what's happened is that we evolved to grab autonomy because it was rare, in the same way that we evolved to grab fat, salt, and sugar because they were rare. And so back in the savannah, fat, salt, and sugar, you hardly ever come across them. So if they're there, eat as much as you can. It doesn't even matter if you're hungry. Which is why today, when I got a bag of potato chips, even if I'm not hungry, I go, "Ooh, that's kind of tempting," right? Because fat, salt, and sugar is what we've evolved to grab whenever the opportunity presented itself. And I think the same thing has happened with autonomy. We've evolved to grab it whenever the opportunity presents itself. So that's what we really want, but it's actually not what we need. What we need is connection. And every time we grab autonomy, we sacrifice some connection. Remember, if I decide to practice my arrow making, that means I'm not hanging out with you and going to do something else. So what I believe has happened is we're sacrificing connection over and over and over again, and that's making us unhappy. And in fact, if you look at the data, we spend far more time alone than we used to, even just 50 years ago. 100 years ago in America, a little over 100 years ago, 1 in every 100 Americans lived alone. Now it's 1 in 7. And so the wealth and technology have just allowed us to be these sort of solo entities, which we've not evolved to be. What makes us happy is actually spending time with each other. And so when we keep seeking what we want by grabbing autonomy, we're actually sacrificing what we need, which is our connection.
I've also heard you talk about even something as small as like eating with your family, how primitive that is to happiness. Can you touch on that?
Sure. And so it's a great example too, because first of all, food makes us happy because we need to eat to survive. And so evolution rewards us when we get a great meal by feeling happy. But we didn't evolve to eat that meal alone. We evolved to eat that meal with others. And so, there's this temptation, though, to go your own way. So let's say you and I are trying to decide what to have for dinner tonight. And I'm like, man, I really want a pizza. And you're like, oh, I really want to have a burger and salad. And I'm like, okay, see you later. I'll go order my pizza. You'll go get your burger. Well, actually, we'd be happier if we just ate something that was a compromise, because then we could be together and share that experience, because that's what we've evolved to do. And so one of the most fundamental things that makes people happy is actually sitting down and eating with their friends. And the problem is that the modern world not only disrupts that in preventing you from doing it in the first place, because you and I want slightly different meals, so we just go our own way. But also there's some really lovely data. So if I remember, Liz Dunn at UBC ran this study where she told them, look, for the study, I need you to put your phone in your bag while you have this dinner with your friends. Or for the study, I need you to keep your phone on the table because I might need to alert you while you have dinner with your friends. And then afterwards, she asked, how much fun was your dinner? Well, just having your phone face up on your table and having the interruptions that pop up all the time made dinner less fun, because you stop connecting with the people you're actually with and you keep getting pulled to that funny cat video or whatever it is that's coming across your phone. And so modern world makes us less likely to do it, and then it makes us do it in the wrong way. We're not immersed in with the people we're with. We're caught up by these constant drags from social media and these other forms of technology.